Good morning to all of you out there. Welcome to the program agenda. And as always, you are watching us via Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250, as well as on facebook.com/onenewsph. And you can also watch us via YouTube, One News PH. You can also reach us via SMS or text message 0968 704 7736. Let me repeat that 0968 704 7736. We will ask our team agenda to flash that on the bottom part of the screen during the program so you can reach me directly. And we thank you for joining us this morning, September 2021. Hindi ko pa naman nakikita si Jose Marichan sa background, so mukhang he is still observing the ECQ dyan sa, and the prohibition for senior citizens to go out. But September, as we Filipinos like to say in jest and half-truth, September 1 is the signal of the bear months and the beginning of the Christmas passion in the Philippines. So it's a Wednesday, and I do hope you are at least, go along with the feeling, go along with the insanity, if you will, that Filipinos have the longest Christmas holiday in the world. But given what we are all going through, it seems that, especially on Facebook, so many Filipinos are just really excited to see Jose Marichan or listen to his songs about Christmas. So baka maging national hero itong si Jose Marichan. Okay, anyway, as I said, it's September 1, Wednesday, and today we will have less politics, more information, and it is something to do with things that many people don't get to hear about. And we will talk about that later in the program. But before that, let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star. On the headline, Delta now dominant variant in the Philippines according to the World Health Organization. That is based on the number of cases and the samplings that have been presented. So there is no more any doubt that it's Delta in the Philippines. On the upper part of the front page of the Philippine Star, nurses group mass protest to push through today. That is what the nurse health workers have announced several weeks ago. They are going to stage protest rallies, noise barrages, walkouts today. Pero do not worry, they are a responsible group, so they're doing it during their breaks, during lunchtime, before work or after shift. So nothing to be nothing to panic over. Anyway, the Department of Health and World Health Organization oppose bakuna bubbles. If you're not familiar with this, Secretary Joey Concepcion or Presidential Advisor Joey Concepcion and the business sector have been pushing for bakuna bubbles where fully vaccinated people will be allowed to go to restaurants and public places to create safe spaces. But the World Health Organization and DOH said, no, no, no. And on the lower part, there we go. Well, yung photo muna. The photo there, kita nyo na people are setting up their Santa Claus and Christmas displays. Christmas in the Philippines will not be prevented, will not be delayed. On the right side, beside the headline, Roddy rants versus Gordon, Ping, and Aimee. Mukhang pinakyaw na ni Presidente ang atake sa Senado. Duterte in panic mode, according to Gordon. And then for the COVID-19 tally of Philippine cases, we have 13,827 as of yesterday. And nabawasan naman po, nahati yung number of deaths, 118 passed away yesterday. But if one of those is your loved one, it doesn't lessen the loss. And we condole with all of those of you who have lost a loved ones. Mukhang lahat naman tayo ay nakatikim na ng kawalan dyan. Senators eyes 3 L's in procurement over price. 2 firms in mask shield controversy see profits surge. Yung ba yung Pharmally? Mukhang kanilang kita based on their reporting ay tumama, nag-jackpot. Okay. And the photo there that you will see in the bottom is the National Heroes Day Give Hope Project for riders. There you go. Okay, let's go to the stories behind, or the news behind the front page. The World Health Organization confirmed that the Delta variant is currently the most dominant variant in the Philippines. The highly contagious variant was found in 69% of the 748 samples sequenced recently by the Genome Center. So far, health authorities have detected 1,789 cases of it. Meanwhile, health workers will hold a mass protest today after the health department failed to release their special risk allowance and other unpaid benefits. Various health worker groups said they waited for 10 days but failed to receive their SRA from the government. Yung po yung sinasabi ni President Duterte kay Duque, Secretary Duque and the DOH, I want them paid in 10 days. 10 days have gone and the money is not there. They assured the public that hospital operations would not be disrupted as protests will be held during breaks. Excuse me. And in politics, President Rodrigo Duterte hurled insults against Senator Ping Lacson, Richard Gordon, and even Aimee Marcos. This as the Senate continues to investigate the government's purchase of allegedly overpriced medical supplies. The senators brushed off Duterte's insults with Lacson, claiming the chief executive is now in panic mode. Okay, wag muna natin ipasok yung ating quote for the day. Ise-set up ko lang muna yan. Alam niyo po, ladies and gentlemen, the president in his tirade against the senators basically said that Senator Gordon, magpapayat ka muna. In English, you're fat. Okay, and I don't think Senator Gordon will take offense with that statement that I said because no less than his former BFF, my father Louis Beltran, was the victim of such an attack by a cabinet member during the Cory administration. One cabinet member, and I wrote about it in my column in C-Talk today, nakasulat po sa Philippine Star opinion column, where a cabinet member called my father Louis Beltran fat. And I remember, or rumor has it, that no less than Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin, who was with the Cory administration back then, talked to the cabinet member and said, "What? You call Louis Beltran fat?" you're dead meat. Wala na, patay ka na. Hindi ka na titigilan ni Louis. And true to form, my father, Louis Beltran, came up, quoted what we will mention today, and it is for the people who have been called fat by other people. Ginamit ito ng tatay ko, and our quote for the day comes from Garfield the cat. I may be fat, but you're ugly, and I can go on a diet. That's from Garfield the cat. And why did we, ang cute, ano? Bilib ako sa'yo, Arbic eh. Pagdating sa cutism, magaling ka dyan eh. Okay, why did we use that? It is not to, not to provoke others into more heated dispute or insult trading, but it serves as a lesson. Sometimes we think we come up with a very sharp, very powerful insult. Kasi maraming taong ganyan eh. They want to excel at insulting others. Not realizing that if they looked at the mirror, their face will tell them that they are an insult to themselves. Parang you have a face that only a mother could love. So, ang lesson po dyan, be careful about giving insults, throwing insults, because you never know what the comeback will be. Yung iba nga, sabi, I'm not fat, I'm just fluffy. Merong sabi, I am not fat, I am vertically challenged, okay? Or the scales are lying. Okay, so that's our quote for the day. I may be fat, but you're ugly, and I can go on a diet. Okay, seryoso na tayo. The time is 8:11. Let's now go to our first interview, and it concerns the Bureau of Quarantine. Many of you have heard of the Bureau of Quarantine. You may have passed by one of their kiosks or their tables at an airport, at a pier, etc., etc. And recently, they gained prominence regarding itong mga COVID travel pass or COVID vaccination cards for OFW. The question is, may alam ba tayo dyan sa Bureau of Quarantine? And matagal ko na pong gustong mangyari ito. I've long wanted to interview someone from the Bureau of Quarantine because it only follows that we should all be familiar with essentials. Kasi alam nyo po, yung quarantine, hindi lang yan sa ECQ, GCQ. If you ever study Australia, I found out that in Australia, yung kanilang states, hindi ka basta-basta pwedeng magbiyahe ng halaman, ng pagkain, ng hayop, because at the borders, they literally have borders between states, and you don't get to travel with those products unless the Bureau of Quarantine or the local equivalent checks you out. So, let's find out. Let's go to Dr. Roberto Salvador Jr., Deputy Director of the Bureau of Quarantine. Dr. Salvador, good morning.
Hello, magandang umaga po, Sir Cito. Magandang umaga po sa lahat ng mga nakikinig sa inyo.
Okay, Doc. You're a veterinarian, I suppose.
No, sir. Yun nga po, maraming salamat po sa pag-clear po sa Bureau of Quarantine kasi marami pong hindi nakakakilala sa Bureau of Quarantine. Ang quarantine po, meron tayong animal tsaka may human. Kami po ang Human Bureau of Quarantine. Human po kami. Opo. Ang tahimik lang po kami, pero ang Bureau of Quarantine po ang pinakaunang agency po na nag-respond sa pandemic. Kami po ang unang na-expose diyan sa pandemic na yan. And mula pa lang po sa pagdating ng pasahero ng mga kababayan natin, kami po ang nag-aalaga. So napakalaki po ng responsibilidad po ng Bureau of Quarantine na hindi po siguro alam ng nakakarami. Pagdating nyo pa lang po sa paliparan, kami po yung unang-unang titingin sa inyo, i-check kung meron kayong mga simptomas, i-check ang travel history. Kaya pagdating naman po sa mga hotel, kami rin po yung nagbabantay ng mga kababayan natin na galing sa restricted country Pag may nag-positive po, kami din po yung kumukuha ng positive, ita-transfer po namin sa mga TTMF o hotel namin. Kami din po nag-aalaga sa mga positive natin mga kababayan. And kami rin po yung nagbibigay ng mga certificate bago kayo makauwi sa mga locality nyo. Napakalaki po ng role po ng Bureau of Quarantine dito sa pandemic response natin.
Well, I thank God for this opportunity because alam mo, Doc Salvador, honestly, hindi ko alam na meron palang Bureau of Quarantine for Humans and Bureau of Quarantine for Animals. So, okay, so you are a doctor of medicine.
Yes po, ako.
Okay, so Doctor of Medicine, kayo yung in charge sa first responders kayo. Literally first responders kayo dito sa quarantine regarding COVID. Ngayon, I don't know kung mukhang bata ka pa kasi Doc pero kailan ba tinayo yung Bureau of Quarantine na yan? And under what department is the Bureau of Quarantine?
Sir, ang Bureau of Quarantine po, isa sa pinakamatandang agency kay under DOH po. Kami po is 120 years na po. Since the start po ng mga pandemic na yan, even the start of SARS, andito na po kami. Kami po yung talagang border control. Kami po yung ahensya na kasama ng ibang mga agency. Kami po yung pumipigil na kumalat ang infeksyon galing po sa ibang bansa.
Okay, and how big is the bureau, Dr. Salvador? Kasi I'm surprised. Medyo nagtataka lang kami. Ako at I'm sure marami na sa tagal-tagal ninyong in existence, sa halaga ng inyong papel, bakit parang hindi na babalitaan except pag itong nang nagkakaproblema na?
Apo. Tahimik lang po ang Bureau of Quarantine. Nagtatrabaho po kami. Importante lang po sa amin is magampanan namin yung trabaho namin para po makatulong sa bayan natin. Ang Bureau of Quarantine po, lahat po ng international airport, lahat ng points of entry po dito sa buong Pilipinas po, meron tayong station. Hindi po ganun kami kadami, kaya nga po medyo sa laki ng responsibilidad namin ngayon sa pandemic, especially dito po sa Luzon and even other regions namin, talagang kulang po kami ng tao po.
Okay, approximately how many are you now? Kasi isa pang tanong ko, kayo ba ay solely national agency? Kasi recently, di ba, I don't know kung nabalitaan mo yon, yung mga galing ba nung Pio Duran ba yun sa Bicol yata yun, pupunta sana sila sa isang probinsya, 300 sila, pinagbawalan silang makabalik sa sarili nilang probinsya dahil sa COVID. Meron din ba kayong local? Ilan ba kayo?
Sa buong Pilipinas po, yung regular employees namin nasa less than 500 po. Pero ngayon po ang JO po natin umaabot po ata ng mga 600 po. So okay. Talagang kaunti po talaga ang manpower namin, kaya nga po humingi po kami ng tulong sa DOH na madagdagan kami lalong-lalong po ngayon sa response namin sa pandemic.
Okay, and what have you discovered as far as the Bureau of Quarantine is concerned in terms of your ability, capacity to respond to COVID pandemic? Kasi, di ba, maraming, ano yung mga na-realize ninyo, Doc Salvador?
Apo. Ang Bureau of Quarantine po kasi talagang masasabi natin na expertise po talaga natin yung mga ganitong klaseng mga emerging or emerging infection. Dito po tinrain ng Bureau of Quarantine, border control po. So kaya po nung dumating po ang pandemic, nabihasa na po kami dahil dun sa SARS, sa MERS-CoV, kay sa Ebola, sa polio. So lahat po yan, ang nag-respond po dyan is Bureau of Quarantine. So ngayong pandemic lang po, mas lumaki po ang role ng Bureau of Quarantine. Mas napakita po namin ang kakayanan ng Bureau of Quarantine kay dito sa pandemic na po.
Okay, so ano yung mga wala ang Bureau of Quarantine? I don't want to start with the negative, no? Pero kasi siyempre, pag responde mo, may doktor. Nandiyan si Dr. Salvador. Ilan bang doktor ng Bureau of Quarantine na full-time?
Ah, yan po. Yan po yung talagang ang kailangan natin dahil nga po sa laki ng responsibility na binigay ng government, ng IATF, na hindi lang kami border control ngayon, hindi lang kami sa airport. So ang responsibility namin hangga't hindi po makauwi yung kababayan natin sa LGU natin, LGU nila, kami pa rin po nag-aalaga sa kanila. So humingi po kami ng tulong sa DOH, nagpasa po kami ng appeal na maibigay po yung required namin na human resources. And alam ko po na approve, kailangan lang po ng tulong ng DBM po for the allotment of the budget po.
Okay, how many doctors do you have and how many doctors do you need?
Hindi ko po masabi yung actual number ng doctors namin, pero bawat regions po meron kaming mga doctors po. So especially ang concentration po natin ngayon ng fight ng pandemic kasi yung mga international traveler natin nandito sa NCR, marami po kaming doctor pero yung dami po namin na doctor and nurses kailangan pa po namin para mas maging efficient po.
Hindi ko na pagpipit-pitan yan kasi na-curious ako. Alam mo, medyo kung minsan linear ako mag-isip eh. So,
Yes po.
okay, so you need doctors, you need nurses. Okay. Now, ito bang Bureau of Quarantine? Kasi, am I correct or is my memory failing me na nung sumusundo tayo ng mga Pilipinos abroad, especially yung nire-repatriate ng mga in COVID areas, nagpapadala din kayo ng personnel on board those flights para i-monitor at i-check lahat yung mga yan?
Yes sir, isa po sa lead po ng mga ganyang mga repatriation flight po, for example po nung Ebola, kaya itong COVID po, nandun po kami. Isa po kami doon sa nangunguna po sa pagplan po sa mga ganyang activity po. So yung Wuhan flight natin, yan.
Oops, naghang yata si Dr. Salvador, yung kanyang signal. Let's just wait on Dr. Salvador. Oh, there we go. You're back.
Yes po. Apo.
So your teams were, or at least some of your members have boarded flights for repatriation of Filipinos. Kayo yung nagmo-monitor. Pero hindi ba kayo nauubusan ng personnel na nagre-resign at nagsasabing ayoko ng trabaho na yan, yung sampa ako nasa hukay, ako lagi yung nakikipagharap sa kalabang hindi makita?
Apo, tama po yan. Talaga pong napakadelikado po ng trabaho namin, lalong-lalo po yung mga personnel namin na nakadeploy po sa hotel, sa airport, talaga pong high risk na magkaroon ng COVID. So marami na rin po kami nagka-COVID, meron na rin pong mga namatay, pero kagandahan po dito sa sa Bureau of Quarantine, sa mga employees natin na talagang gusto nilang tumulong. Pagkatapos po magkaroon ng infection, makarecover, balik kagad sila sa duty. So,
Okay.
oriented naman po sila kung ano yung nature ng job namin.
But okay, so pero what about compensation? Kasi yung pulis ka, nagche-checkpoint lang yung iba eh. Yung iba, hindi nga nasa checkpoint, tinatamaan, and they've lost over 100 plus policemen and women. Sa inyo ba dyan sa Bureau of Quarantine, ilan ang mortality ninyo?
Sa COVID po, isa po yung nawala sa amin, pero yung nagka-infection po, nagka-severe, marami na rin po. Isa na rin po ako, nagka-severe po ako last March. And just recently po, second positive po ako. Kakatapos lang po na isolation ko.
And most of them, if not all of them, are job-related.
Yes po. May
Okay, so-
job-related po, pero may community acquired din po. Karamihan community acquired din po.
Okay, now does it pay enough for you to risk your life? Kasi I know your sense of duty, Doc. No, as a physician, that's already in the job description. But siguro naman not all of your people are doctors, and yet for you to have to take such risk, sabi nga nila, does that job pay you enough to risk your life?
Apo, as a health worker po, talaga po alam naman natin as a health worker hindi naman enough yung compensation. Pero lagi ko pong sinasabi sa mga employees natin na yung tulong na nagagawa natin ngayong pandemic, na-appreciate ito ng government and nakikita ito ng Diyos na ang kapalit nito is protection ng family nyo against this disease. So talagang mahirap po yung trabaho namin po. Pero talaga pong kailangan po namin ituloy dahil ito po yung responsibility namin.
Okay, now, you've mentioned, sinabi mo na kanina, kayo yung kayo yung sumusundo, kayo yung nag-i-screen, kayo yung nagte-test, tapos kayo yung nagdadala sa health facility or sa quarantine facility, at kayo rin yung nag-clear for OFW. What other responsibilities or services does the Bureau of Quarantine give or perform?
Ah, sorry po. Opo, lahat po ng responsibility niyan kami po talaga po ang gumagawa. Ang sabi nga po natin na nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyo na ngayon lang po na makikilala ang Bureau of Quarantine kung ganong hirap po ginawa ng mga Bureau of Quarantine employees natin para dito sa pandemic na ito.
Okay, Doc,
nag-cut po tayo ng line. Sorry po, nag-cut yung line natin. Hindi ko po
Okay. Let's go for a quick break, Doc Salvador. And pagbalik natin, pakidetalye nga ano pa yung ibang trabaho na o serbisyong binibigay ng Bureau of Quarantine. 1 minute break, we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda, and you are watching us via Cignal TV channels 8 and 250, and courtesy of PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet, okay, or Fiber Optic Home Internet. Ewan ko, hindi ko na alam kung paano sabihin, pero nagpapasalamat po tayo sa PLDT, and of course to my very imported technical and floor director, my wife Karen, for helping us set up. Let's go back to our guest, Dr. Salvador of the Bureau of Quarantine, Dr. Roberto Salvador. Doc, relax ka lang, kwentuhan lang to. Huwag ka masyadong formal dyan. Doc, napag-usapan nakwento mo na yung kanina yung mga services ninyo, no? Ano pa ba ibang mga ginagawa ng Bureau of Quarantine?
Yun po, ang Bureau of Quarantine po talaga, ang mandato po talaga natin is border control. Ang sabi nga natin na mula pa rin po sa pagdating ng mga pasahero natin, mga kababayan natin, sa una kami po yung na-expose, kami yung nag-i-screen, hanggang sa pagsundo, hanggang sa pag-aalaga. Bukod po doon, kami rin po ang nagki-clear ng mga international vessel natin sa mga port, sa mga barko po. Kami din po yung kumukuha ng mga positive doon. Meron din kami mga regular work po, mga vaccination, issuance ng talagang napakalaki po ng scope ng work ng Bureau of Quarantine.
Aba, hindi ko alam na sumasampa pala kayo ng barko
Po,
kasi doon sa
na
Palawan yung sumasampa ng barko, nagbebenta ng alak at sigarilyo. Dito pala sa Bureau of Quarantine, sumasampa kayo to inspect for any potential harm or risks. Okay, now, nabanggit mo yung mga clearances o yung ano, yung certificates. Mukhang kayo na ngayon ang go-to agency as far as the yellow card is concerned for OFWs. What's the situation there, Dr. Salvador?
Yes po. Ang yellow card po, International Certificate of Vaccination and Prophylaxis, matagal na po natin itong ini-issue. Since the start po, noong 1935 na natatag ang WHO, ini-issue na po ang yellow card for seafarer. Ito po ay recognized ng WHO signatory countries, 1,009 na isang papel po na nagpapatunay na kayo po ay nabakunahan sa mga importanteng bakuna na kailangan po ng country of destination.
Okay, so
sa ngayon po,
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
sa ngayon po, isa po sa nirecognize ng WHO na pwedeng gamitin ng mga bansa para po ilagay ang COVID vaccination is the yellow card. So kaya nga po, marami po ngayong mga gusto na magpa-issue ng yellow card, pero sinasabi nga po natin, ang yellow card po is not mandatory. Hindi po ito immunity pass. So importante lang po, bago po kayo umalis ng bansa, makipag-coordinate sa country of destination or airline kung kailangan natin ng yellow card.
Okay. And ano po ba ang requirements para sa yellow card? Is it strictly for contracted or overseas workers with contract with placements, or pwede rin ba yan for Filipinos na mag-aaral abroad, etc.?
Ang una pong requirement para po makakuha tayo ng yellow card, importante po is fully vaccinated tayo dito sa Pilipinas. So, ang inuuna po natin talaga is yung mga OFW natin, lalong-lalo po yung papunta ng Hong Kong, kasi nagkaroon po tayo ng recent agreement with Hong Kong officials na tatanggapin nila starting August 30 ang mga Hong Kong bound OFW kung dala-dala nila yung tamang yellow card po.
Okay. And then,
So, ang pinapakiusap lang po natin na sana po ang mga mag-a-apply po ng yellow card, kasi may booking system tayo, ang una po sana mag-apply yung talagang may mga confirmed flight na po o talagang paalis na. Kasi ang problem po natin, lahat gusto makakuha ng yellow card kahit hindi po ito, hindi pa sila aalis. So nawawalan po ng slot yung mga talagang aalis na kay na mga kababayan natin.
Mm-hmm. Pero gaano kabilis naman kayo mag-provide nitong yellow card? Kasi yung iba, syempre naniniguro. Feeling nila ay malapit na rin naman tayong bumiyahe, kumuha na tayo para hindi tayo maubusan ng oras. What is the sure time frame para pag kunyari ako yung OFW, nag-apply ako sa Doc Salvador, ilang araw sigurado makakakuha ko?
Importante lang po is mag-log sila doon sa online booking system natin. So doon sila makakakita po ng schedule kung ano po yung available date na pwede silang mag-apply. So doon naman po sa ang problem po kasi natin, Sir Cito, na talagang punong-puno na yung slot natin, doon naman po sa talagang may confirmed flight na po. Meron tayong special lane po sa may mga confirmed flight na po. Pero talagang dapat ipakita nila na meron silang ticket, may OEC sila para ma-reschedule sila.
Okay. So, pag sinabi mong punong-puno, mga nakakailang applications or requests kayo per day? I don't expect you to know these details, no?
Yes po.
Pero more guesstimate lang.
Ang ini-issue po natin ngayon is more than 1,000 yellow card per day. Marami na po tayo mga satellite offices na binuksan para po ma-cater natin yung mga needs po ng mga kababayan natin na may yellow card, na kailangan ng yellow card. So may mga satellite station tayo sa malls po kasi nilalapit na po natin yung servisyo natin sa mga kababayan para maging convenient po sa kanila.
Doc Salvador, if you can, no, could you just mention where the satellite stations are? Kasi syempre, maski na din sa Lipan, sa Lipan na nga ako, may tumatawag sa akin galing Quezon na kailangan pa ba raw nilang pumunta ng Manila, etc. Eh sabi ko, teka, magtatanong muna kami. Saan po ba yung mga satellite stations?
Apo, meron po tayo rito po sa Manila, yung main office natin sa port area. Meron tayong North EDSA.
Saan sa port area? Kasi sa Canadok, hindi namin
Apo,
alam masyado eh.
sa port area po, sa likod po mismo ng Manila Hotel, malapit po doon sa Coast Guard po. So
Ayun.
likod ng Manila Hotel po, port area. Sa SM North EDSA po, satellite station natin. SM Mall of Asia. Eastwood, bukas na rin po ang Eastwood natin. Meron din po tayo sa Batangas, sa Subic, sa La Union, sa Cebu, Iloilo. So halos lahat po ng mga station natin nag-i-issue na po ng yellow card and ginagawa po namin lahat ng paraan para po maserbisyo natin yung mga kababayan natin sa pamamagitan po ng pagbukas ng iba't ibang satellite station at ini-increase po namin yung capacity namin ng pag-issue everyday po, Sir Cito.
Okay, so in other words, kung pupunta lang sila, gamitin lang nila yung cellphone, check lang nila Bureau of Quarantine, malalaman nila eksakto kung nasaan yung mga satellite stations na yan ng Bureau of Quarantine.
Yes po, mag-online lang po sa icv.boq.ph. icv.boq.ph, andyan po yung mga station natin na nag-i-issue ng yellow card natin po.
Okay, now may katanungan dito, pakitanong lang po ano ang difference nung One Health Pass do ka sa yellow card kasi umpisa yata ngayon yung One Health Pass baka magkalabo-labo, alam mo naman kanya-kanyang nangyayari ngayon eh.
Apo, ang One Health Pass po is BOQ initiated din po sa tulong ng lahat ng agency na tumutulong sa mga pauwi nating mga kababayan. Ang One Health Pass po, ang purpose nito is ma-decrease yung inconvenience ng mga travelers natin. I-automate po lahat ng proseso. Mula po dun sa pinaka-importante na kailangan nilang ipasa pagdating sa Pilipinas, yung health declaration checklist, ino-automate po yan hanggang makauwi sila sa LGU. So ginawa po ito dahil nakita po namin na pagdating dito umaabot ng ilang oras bago makalabas ng airport, makapagpahinga sa hotel. With One Health Pass po, ma-automate po lahat, ma-decrease na po yung time. Less than 1 hour po ang target namin. Paglapag ng aeroplano, dapat nasa hotel na kayo. So dire-diretso po yung tulong na yon, automated po, mula sa paglapag ng aeroplano, ibabarilin po yung QR code nyo ng Bureau of Quarantine. After po mabaril, diretso na po yan sa desk ng OWA, DOT, kay then diretso sa hotel, sa lab po, then sa LGU po. Connected na po lahat po.
Linawin lang natin yung sinasabi po ni Dr. Salvador na babarilin, ginagamitan po ng scanner. Baka mamaya kung isipin na naman sino na naman yung babarilin dyan. Okay, now, ang tanong, Dr. Salvador, ito bang yellow card libre? Kasi, di ba, dami nagsasabi, bagong bayani ng Pilipinas. Nagsasabi, kung bayani kami, bakit hindi kami libre? Libre ba yung quarantine card na yung yellow card na yan?
May bayad po talaga ang yellow card since no nag-start tayo na nag-issue dito. Ang Bureau of Quarantine po kasi is a regulatory agency and ang operation namin po is nanggagaling po dun sa income namin. Pero meron pong mga pag-uusap sa DOH na baka po sakaling mabigyan po ng allotment ang mga OFW natin para po makakuha po ng libreng yellow card. Pinag-uusapan na po yung ganun.
Okay, liwanagin natin yan. Ladies and gentlemen, that is so important, okay? Yung binabayad, magkano yung binabayad sa yellow card?
Documentation po fee is 300 po and the convenience fee po dun sa online system natin na pinapatupad ngayon is 70 pesos, 370 po.
Okay, parang isang malaking load lang sa cellphone. But anyway, what's important, ladies and gentlemen, is the fees collected, yung binabayad po ninyo para sa yellow card, bumabalik sa ahensya, sa Bureau of Quarantine for their operating expenses. Kasi nga, kapos na kapos ang Bureau of Quarantine sa pondo, sa gamit at sa tao. And in spite of that, they are doing a Herculean job. Nako, kung national security lang po ang pinag-uusapan, dapat umuulan ng pera dyan sa Bureau of Quarantine kasi it's a national security concern. Ewan ko ba kung bakit yung ating mga yung mga ibang congressman dyan hindi kayo napapansin. Anyway, ito na po mga tanungan, Doc Salvador. Ida-download po QR code ng traveler. Paano po magkakaroon ng QR code na babarilin?
Yun po. Bago pa lang po kayo dumating dito sa Pilipinas, mga 3 days po, pasok na po kayo dun sa online platform natin na www.onehealthpass.com po. Doon po, kailangan po i-encode nyo yung pangalan nyo, yung passport number nyo, and dapat po, pagdating doon sa airport or 1 day before dumating sa airport, ilagay nyo po yung importanteng health status nyo. So yung pong mga tinatanong doon, may lagnat, galing ba sa restricted country, importante po yon. Para po bago pa lang kayo dumating dito sa Pilipinas, kami po, ahensya na mag-aalaga sa inyo, nakaready na po kami para ma-assist po kayo kung kailangan niyo po.
Okay, well, at least nakuha na yon. So 3 days before arrival or flying back to the Philippines, go to the site, download the QR code, fill in the blanks, etc., as accurately as possible para ma-assist kayo pag landing nyo. That's for our OFW. Siguro naman alam nila yan, but pwede rin ba yan to non-OFW, yung returning Filipino?
Yes po, lahat po ng mga uuwi po sa Pilipinas, OFW, non-OFW, and foreigners po, required na po kayo na pumasok po sa One Health Pass po.
Okay, well, Dr. Salvador, I am so happy and thankful kahit papaano na-feature namin ang Bureau of Quarantine.
Salamat
And
po.
siguro next time kung may pagkakataon tayo, pakiprepara mo na rin yung mga talking points mo kasi I'm sure marami ka pang gustong i-share o ikwento
Yes,
sa
po.
ating mga tagapanood kasi dihadong-dihado kayo, Dr. Salvador.
Yun po. First time
Napakaganda
po.
ng trabaho nyo.
First time po, Sir Cito, na meron pong magbigay po sa amin ng ganito pong pagkakataon na mapakilala po ang Bureau of Quarantine. Talaga pong mahirap ang trabaho ng mga staff namin. Kaya nagpapasalamat po ako sa mga Bureau of Quarantine staff po na hindi po bumibitaw, nagtsatsaga po kahit na may mga problem kami na encounter.
Okay, it is our honor and privilege to feature the Bureau of Quarantine. Congratulations and God bless each and every one of you and your families. Mabuhay po kayo, Doc Salvador.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Cito, sa tulong niyo po sa amin po.
Okay, yan po si Dr. Roberto Salvador ng Bureau of Quarantine. Please say a prayer for all of them kasi sila po talaga ang first line of defense. Pagbaba mo pa lang ng eroplano, pagbaba mo ng barko, sila kagad yung nag-check kung mayroong problema, etc. At pinag-usapan pa lang natin, Bureau of Quarantine for Humans. Hindi pa yung for plants and animals. Sana matulungan tayo ni Dr. Salvador dyan in the future kasi alam nyo po, diyan din nagsisimula. Nako, meron na nga, ano ba yung nabasa ko? Kung ano-anong hayop na sa zoos ang meron. They've already determined that the COVID virus is also transmitted to animals. Merong aso, merong yung huling nakita ko, tiger ba yun or leopard or something, etc. So we need to observe quarantine protocols, not just yung enhanced community quarantine, GCQ, MCQ, but border quarantine. Anyway, tayo po ay pupunta. We will go to our next guest. And pasensya na, no? Medyo may konting pasakali. Kamakailan, recently, I encountered a young man who works for me here part-time. And nice guy, matuwain, funny kid. But, he would always work like this. And people around him would get annoyed kasi kuminsan mabagal. And they said, Kuyang, pabayaan mo, wala tayong magagawa. He is may parang may problema sa ulo yan kasi parang may epilepsy, etc. Sabi ko, hindi epilepsy ang symptoms na yan eh. So, I took a chance. I sent him to an ophthalmologist. Lo and behold, yung isa po niyang mata, 500 ang grade, yung isang mata, 100 astigmatism. Sabi ng doktor, kanya po banlag yung bata. Kasi 21 pa lang naman yung tao, no? And hanggang grade 3 lang ang inabot. He only reached grade 3 because he was visually impaired, because he was having headaches all the time. And from grade 3 until he reached 21, people simply said, may problema. Yung pala salamin lang. So today I have asked and we have invited a pediatric ophthalmologist of the Makati Medical Center, Dr. Mary Rose Chang. Dr. Chang, good morning to you, ma'am.
Good morning, Sir Cito. It's
Okay.
it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay,
I'm
could you just speak a
sorry.
little louder, ma'am, kasi medyo mahina yung volume.
It's very interesting to actually hear that sad story of Carlo, kasi it's very common po na nakikita ko po ito sa clinic while they are younger. It's called anisometropic amblyopia with lazy eye, no? Kasi ang nangyayari po dito, pag ang isang mata, actually in this case, dalawang mata may grado, no? Pero yung isa, mas mataas. Ang nangyayari po dito, yung ating brain decides to focus its development dun po sa mas mababang grado. So ang nangyayari, hindi po mas nagde-develop yung visual system nung kabilang mata na mataas ang grado. So, in this way, ang nangyayari, laging nagfo-focus yung eye with a lower grade, and then the other eye with a higher grade, pwede pong lumihis. Like in this case, lumalabas, no? It's called exotropia. So, these are some of the signs, and it usually comes early, of an eye problem. Pagka hindi po pantay ang mata. It's very hard for any young person to say na malabo ang mata ko, because this is the knowledge that he has and experience that he has of the world. It's hard to compare it with other people. So usually we
Kumbaga,
look for signs.
kumbaga kinalakihan na.
Kinalakihan na ito.
Yun.
At
They grew accustomed na this is normal for me. And hindi magsasalita yung bata until makikita natin na yung grado niya bumabagsak o kaya yung coloring book niya parang sandali. Bakit hindi mo maikulay doon sa linya?
yes. Hindi rin naman usually ginagawa ng bata na tinatakpan yung isa. Uy, mas malinaw to, mas malinaw to. Hindi usually ganon. In many cases, we've seen children who were placed dun sa harap, this is pre-COVID, no? So sa harap ng klase nila, so hindi naman nalalaman, matalino, nakakasunod, pero actually visually impaired. Oo. So they could do a lot better pa.
Yeah, Doktora, what should be done about this? Kasi when I wrote that column in the Philippine Star regarding Carlo, I said that it just seems to make sense that the DepEd should have a mandatory process. Kasi puro na lang tayo physical exam, pero hindi pinapahalagahan yung eye test. I mean, just so you know, I have glaucoma on the left eye. I didn't know I had glaucoma until a few years ago. Kasi napansin ko, sabi ko, ba't parang ako nahihilo? Tapos sabi ko, ba't parang ito hindi ko masyadong nakikita here. At this level, I can't see my hand anymore. But this I can see. And I realized may tama pala yung mata ko. And I could go blind. I'm actually down to 30% on one eye. With Carlo, what is the society doing? Kasi I'm sure you have an society of ophthalmologists. What can be done about this?
There was a very big move pre-pandemic, and Republic Act 11358, the National Vision Screening Test, spearheaded by the Perry, no? That's actually the group that tried to formulate a vision screening nationwide. They were given actually a 10 million pesos, if I'm not mistaken, to develop and solve this problem. So they came out with a kit at nagturo po sila sa mga guro at saka sa mga healthcare providers kung paano i-test ang mga bata. And in this case, nagkaroon ng COVID at ngayon ang testing ay ginagawa sa bahay po. Pero ito po ang kailangan naman natin ituro sa new normal. Kasi meron po tayong mga tests, vision tests for children that are available online so they can test themselves. There are also tests that can be printed, like the one from the American Academy of Ophthalmology, and what we call the APOS, no? That's the American Academy of Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus. You can go to the website and download a visual chart that can be placed 10 feet away para sa ganon ay matetest din po natin kahit sa bahay.
Okay, Dr. Chang, wala po ba, kasi kanina nakita ko ginagawa mo yung gano'n, no, yung eye cover. Ano ba yung mga simpleng or mga obvious na signs, no, na yung bata may problema? Kasi ako nakita ko kagad gumaganon yung bata. Sabi ko, ano ba, Carlo? Ang laki ng tanda ko sa'yo. Hindi mo makita. Sir, bulag yung isang mata ko. Sabi ko, hindi bulag yung isang mata. Anyway, what are the simple things that parents can pick up on?
Unang-una, kung naiibang galaw ng mata, we call it nystagmus, no? Kasi early on, kung mababa ang vision ng bata, maaring gumagalaw-galaw ng ang mata, no? What we call pendular nystagmus. And then at the same time, pwedeng lumihis ang mata, yung misalignment, no? Ocular misalignment, wherein
Yung nababanlag.
nababanlag o naduduling. Ang isa pa is abnormal head posture, maaaring nakaganyan, no? Nagsusubok na parang pag tumingin nakatabi o kaya nakaganyan, no? O kaya lumalapit doon sa source na binabasa niya o pinapanood. Example, the TV or the iPad or anything, even reading up close. The other is headache, possibly even to the point of vomiting o nasusuka, tearing, nasisilaw, pink eye. These things are the usual things that bring children to our clinics. Pagkatapos, yung abnormal yung size ng mata, yung mga obvious na. These are the things that actually commonly seen in the clinic.
Okay, now, yan ba puro salamin lang naman ang kailangan? Kasi with Carlo, ibinili ko na lang. Hindi naman ako nagmamagaling, pero talagang, pagdating sa mata, medyo mapapansin mo naman, medyo emosyonal ako dahil may tama ako. Is it just a question of finding what the problem is and getting the eyeglasses?
There are many different diseases of the eye or disorders of the eye apart from the need for glasses. Pagka salamin po, unfortunately, refraction is a face-to-face matter. Kailangan po makuha yung accurate na grado sa clinic kasi meron po kaming equipment na tumutulong po sa amin na makuha ang grado. Hindi po siya kaya like this, online, no? Na makuha ang grado na eksakto. So, when it comes naman to other disorders, katulad nung may cat's eye reflex o namumuti yung mata, those things are obvious, nakikita yan online. So, teleconsultation also has a role at the moment. There are some patients who really have to be seen in the clinic para makuha yung grado. Pag nakasuot po ng salamin ng katulad ni Carlo, ng maaga before the age of 7, But right now, we treat people even up to the age of 18 because of the plasticity of the brain. Pwedeng solusyonan po yun para maka 2020 pa po ang bawat isang mata. Basta tamang salamin po, pananalamin.
Wala eh. 21 years old na yung bata eh. So, at least siguro naman makatrabaho na siya ng normal. At
Makakatulong pa rin po.
ayun. Okay, Dr. Chang, yung sinabi mo kanina, there was a program to train people, teachers, etc. Saan ba nila ma-access yan? Because I know that there are a number of barangay officials, mayors, mga PIOs na pinapanood naman tayo. And I really would like them to know where to go para maipasa itong information na ito.
Yes. We also wanted to gain traction. It's called the National Vision Screening Act. So this is Act 11358, no? So sa Perry, pwede po kayong pumasok sa kanilang website in order to have any inquiries regarding the National Vision Screening Tests. That's PERI. So they're in charge of that on a national level. At the same time, I'm sure that they got in touch with the LGUs, and when we were on lockdown, pati mga ophthalmologists po ay nagsiscreen para turuan din sila at makita nila yung tamang pamamaraan using the kit. The other way is actually you can download apps. You can also print out yung chart na pwedeng makatest po sa bahay.
Okay, so at least may available pa kahit na naka-cellphone ka lang, mahahanap mo yan and the barangays can do it. Now, any practical tips para sa mga homeschoolers? Kasi nabanggit mo kanina yung nasisilaw. Dito sa bahay ko, when my daughter was still with us before she went to school elsewhere, away lagi yung setting ng computer. Kasi ako gusto ko bright, wala akong nakikita eh. Sila naman gusto nila dim, silang mag-ina. Ano ba yung mga tips for homeschoolers?
Actually, for less eye strain, it's good to actually dim a little bit, no, the screen. And also, mas maganda po, it was found out and scientifically studied na yung pong black screen with white lettering ay mas kinder po and mas relax po ang mata. It's just like reading from Kindle. You can change the color of the background. The other thing is, it's very important na kung telepono po ang gamit, you should be at least 18 to 19 inches away from the phone. It's usually a range of about 19 to 26 inches pag phone, and then pag gadget po katulad ng iPad o kaya ng laptop, up to 30 inches. So wag po masyadong malapit. At saka most importantly, yung tinatawag naming 20-20-20 rule, wherein every 20 minutes, para hindi mapagod ang mata, sa abot makakaya, every 20 minutes, you close your eyes for 20 seconds and look 20 feet away. Look far para ma-reset po at maka-relax po ang ating mata. At saka hindi tayo masyadong mag-dry eye, also because our blinking is much less when looking at an artificial source of like the screens, no, digital screens. So usually ang blinking natin is 10 to 20 times per minute. Bumababa po ito to 4 to 8 times per minute. So nagda-dry eye po ang mga bata, hindi lang po ang adults.
Dr. Chang, yung sinabi mo, the thing you mentioned about dry eye, and I was told by my sister, I think, my sister Marisa, who said, Kuyang, yung mga viewers mo, sabihan mo, wag silang gamit ng mga eye drops na over the counter. Kasi sabi ng ophthalmologist ko, it's not a cure-all, or it's not even for curing dry eyes and all that. Ano bang official position ng mga ophthalmologist regarding eye drops?
Eye drops, actually, we have specific eye drops that we recommend, no? that are actually closer to the natural composition of the tear film layer. Ang pinaka-recommend po namin, lalo na ngayon, sa sitwasyon natin, ay mga preservative-free. As much as possible, preservative-free for long-term use po kasi iyan. Bukod po dun sa tinatawag nating 20-20-20 rule na every now and then, ipipikit po ninyo yung mata in order to reset and look far. So, these preservative-free eye drops are available in all these like drugstores, the typical drugstores. Kasi yung mga
OTC naman yan, Dr. Chang.
usually may prescription po, kaya
Aha.
teleconsultation po ang unang step, no? Kasi yung symptoms po ng dry eye ay the usual, no? Naluluha-luha, parang merong tumutusok sa mata. Pagkatapos nun, paminsan nanlalabo na habang ito, tumitingin kayo sa isang source like
Okay.
online, being online and all that, or nagbabasa ng matagal. And then at the same time, paminsan nangangati. You know, there's these things that are uncomfortable, namumula ng konti. So at that point, it's good to do a teleconsultation with your ophthalmologist. And
Okay.
then,
Thank you very much, Dr. Mary Rose Chang, and thank you for telling us about the National Vision Test and yung Peri. At sana po ay you will stay in touch with us because I personally, and I think Team Agenda wants to push for this because children should not be robbed of their future. Hindi dapat mawala ang kinabukasan dahil lang hindi nabigyan ng tamang salamin o paggamot ang mga kabataan. Thank you very much, Dr. Chan.
thank you very much for this opportunity and God bless.
God bless you too, ma'am. Okay, yan po si Dr. Mary Rose Chang, pediatric ophthalmologist, Makati Medical Center. And that's all the time we have today here on Agenda. Please join us tomorrow, God willing. Sinasabi ko po laging God willing kasi hindi naman natin alam kung kailan ang ating departure date. Okay, so please pray, please stay safe. God bless all of you.